Hey, it's Green Rumor. Working on a Tiffen motorhome, pretty high-end shower. This has got glass walls, real nice, good size, solid surface product, about half-inch thick slabs, except for the floor is probably a little thicker. No, it's about half-inch. Anyway, nice quality coach, very pretty, all nice woodwork and tray ceilings, and just really nice. A lot of slide outs, makes for a lot of room in this thing, and it's just pretty. Anyway, the problem is back here in the shower, the trough drain. It's got this odd trough drain, or it's got a stainless steel grate that sets down into it, and at some point it just had enough pressure on it to break loose the factory glue, which is this. You can see it's a half-inch thick floor with the trough drain glued to the bottom of it. And on this side, that side's still glued, pretty good. This side over here, it's just broke loose. It's just, and it moves. You can see. So now this thing, you could, if you can get pressure on it and get it pulled back up, you could epoxy it. You could clean it real good and epoxy it. Either whatever adhesive you use is going to have to be clean. You're going to have to take some sandpaper and score the inside of the surface of the bottom of the floor and the top of the trough, which is pretty obvious in order to get a good seal. Now the factory used silicone, 100% silicone, and that's what they use to build aquariums. That's what holds the glass together, and you've got hundreds of pounds, literally potentially 1,000 pounds, minimum on some of the bigger aquariums, maybe even more on the huge ones. But yeah, just 100% silicone, thin enough to bond and not too thick, so it just becomes a tear point. But the idea here, I'm gonna go ahead and, rather than epoxy it and have the floor crack by having the weight on it, I'm going to have some flexibility to it with using some silicone, again, like the factory did. Even though over time it broke loose, they probably didn't have the surfaces quite clean enough, and maybe they just didn't put it in the right place. They just put a seal around it rather than in between, because there's not a lick of silicone in between. It's just got a bead around the outside of it. I can feel it. So anyway, if you look in here, you can see you can't really access the bottom of this. There's a aqua hot radiator right here, to pull that out of the way would be a nuisance. And there is a way over here, there's an access port right there, but that's quite a ways away from the drain, so kind of difficult to use that. But you could, I suppose, feed pieces of wood in there and kind of wedge them and wedge that up, and that would work. Real quick though, I built this bracket. This is just a piece of 1/4 inch thick aluminum bar stock I had sitting there. I took a hole saw and cut that circle, and then had this piece of 1/4 inch aluminum bar stock already cut into that size. And then off another project, I have this urethane plastic, which is just to protect the floor, and I just spray adhesive those on there, and pretty simple carriage bolt through it, and then drop that into the tray. And you could build that out of, big washer if you had one, and cut the sides off, or piece of steel. Just try and be smart about it. I wire wheeled the edges and made them so that they aren't sharp and less prone to damaging anything. And then just feed that into the holes like that, rotate it till it's in there, glue it all up, ready to go. And then crank down the bolt, and it should, sorry about wiggling the camera all over the place, and I know you guys hate that. It should just pull right up, so you can see. I'm not even going to use the wrench part of it, just rotate it with my fingers, and it just sucks right up. So that will hold it in place. Pull it real nice and tight like that, and that holds it in place. And you can get some fresh glue on the other side too, and just let that cure for 24 hours, 100% silicone, and you should be good to go. All right. That's just one option. You could use a piece of plywood up there and a washer down there, and use your imagination. This is stuff I had just sitting around, and now I have a a tool, if you will, that can be used for the future. If I ever run into this problem again, which I probably won't. In the last several years, I've never seen it, but it's out there. All right, hope that helps.